school and you don't really work an MP job and you went through all that schooling and are y'all even ready? So the first MP job that I was offered right out of graduation was offering me, I don't even want to say it out loud, it's so bad. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. Go ahead and subscribe so that you don't ever miss an upload. And if you're an OG but a goodie, thank you so much for coming back to another video. Okay guys, so today we have a long-awaited chat, all right? So we're gonna talk career, finances, money, student loans. You know, as you can tell by the title, we're just gonna talk about, was becoming a nurse practitioner worth it, in my opinion, okay? So these are all my personal opinions. This is kind of my journey, my career, what I ended up doing with my nurse practitioner degree, my license, what I currently do I feel like schooling was worth it, etc. So let's just start. We're kind of gonna go in a little bit of like different parts. So to begin, my degree cost $70,000. So at the time that I graduated and after putting kind of everything together as far as like the cost of every semester and, you know, kind of everything in total, the debt that I had for my student loans was $70,000. I don't have like the exact figure. I know it was somewhere in this, it was like 70,000 something. So 70K in student loan debt at the time of graduation. So I graduated in 2019. It is now 2021. So of course I don't owe 70K right now at the moment. I have been paying, you know, on my student loans since the time that I graduated. But that was the amount at the time of graduation. Now the first question, do I think that the education part of it was worth it? And I would have to say, honestly, no. The cost of my degree was definitely so overpriced for what I got out of it at my particular university. So I have a whole entire video dedicated to, like, you know, where I went to school, how I feel about the schooling and the cost and everything. So I'm not gonna break it down in this video, but, you know, for the newbies that kind of didn't follow my nurse practitioner journey, in general, I feel like, you know, a lot of my schooling was self-taught. I don't feel like I got the clinical sites that I needed to come out of school to be like a competent nurse practitioner. And that was something that really drew me into the school, and why I was like, okay, I'm good with paying that price tag because they set you up with your clinicals. Like, you have, you know, I wanted to come out of school and feel like, all right, I'm confident, you know, to an extent, right? Because you always have a huge learning curve. But you guys, when I came out of school, I feel like I did not know anything when it came to like being an MP and prescribing and diagnosing, like actually in the real world. And that's because a lot of my clinical sites were spent in a county jail. So I did 2 semesters in a jail. And the healthcare in jail versus healthcare in like the real world is completely different. So I didn't really get a lot of exposure, you know, like in a clinic site, like just a regular family practice or women's health. Like, I came out barely knowing much about women's health, which was something that I felt like I really needed to be like a family nurse practitioner. Like, you're gonna be doing, you know, pap smears and women's health and like, you know, all these kind of things. And I barely got women's health exposure. I had 1 semester of pediatrics and I was going to that site 1 day a week. Okay, so 1 8-hour day out of the whole week for a semester was like, what, 12 weeks? So I got 12 days in a pediatric site. That's not enough to come out to be a competent nurse practitioner. So in general, in a nutshell, I felt like I came out of school and was like, oh my gosh, I just paid all this money for this degree and I just did not get what I expected to get. So I was very much underwhelmed with the quality of my education. So when people ask me that question, you know, the answer has to be no. Now, the other question is, do you think that becoming a nurse practitioner in general was worth it? So let's just go into that chat, okay? Okay, so for those of you that are new here, this is your first time kind of clicking on my channel, I am a family nurse practitioner. I currently own my own practice. I have a medical spa in South Carolina, and I do IV hydration, chemical peels, and body contouring. So that's where a lot of, you know, this question comes about. Like, people ask me, like, you know, would you have still done it? Like, did you know this is what you wanted to do going back? Like, you know, would you have just started the business as an RN, etc., etc.? So I would say that yes, becoming a nurse practitioner definitely was worth it in the long run. I absolutely love being a nurse practitioner. Like, I love the freedom that I get with the degree and with, you know, with this career, especially being a nurse entrepreneur, and the freedom that I get with being able to, like, you know, move around and kind of expand my business, expand the type of services that I want to offer. And you know, I feel like I have a lot of flexibility and mobility within being able to own my own practice, you know, with a medical director, and then having RNs as a staff to, you know, provide some of the services. So yeah, one of the questions that I get all the time is, you know, can you start a medical spa as an RN, or do you have to be a nurse practitioner to start it? And the answer is actually no. So anybody can start a med spa, and you just hire who you need. So a random person with no healthcare training can technically own a medical spa and then hire a nurse practitioner, hire a medical director to be their doctor, hire the RNs to do the actual services, and they're just, you know, the CEO. They just own it, you know, it's under, they kind of operate the business. Now, as a nurse practitioner, I own it, and I also provide some of the services, such as like the peels and hydration and things like that. So you don't have to be a nurse practitioner, but I would say it has given me a lot of flexibility, like, and also a lot of freedom, because, you know, I feel like I get to collaborate. So for example, like, some of my patients will come in with certain orders, like from their doctor, to get certain drips or certain things, and, you know, I'm able to just do that because I'm a nurse practitioner. I can just sign off on it and be like, yeah. The other pro of, you know, being a nurse practitioner and owning my own practice and actually providing the services myself is that I get to keep a huge chunk of the revenue that my business brings in. Yeah, like, pretty much most of the revenue is I get to keep. So I pay, of course, my medical director gets their monthly, you know, flat pay. And then my staff, they just get, you know, their hourly pay. And that's kind of up to me. If I want to pick up extra days, I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to work this whole entire week. I really don't need my RN for the week. If I'm traveling, I'm like, you know what, I'm taking 5 days off. Let me staff my RN for those 5 days. So it kind of just varies. You know, it's really up to me. Like, do I want to make bank this month and just be at the spa every day myself? Or do I just want to, like, chill back and, you know, pay other people to be there? So I get to make those decisions. I kind of get to decide how much I want to bring home. And, you know, with being able to provide the services myself, that's definitely a pro, because, you know, a lot of it I get to keep, and I don't have to, you know, have just different staff members and then be paying out. Okay, so let's go into the next question, because I have seen this quite a bit, and people have asked me, like, would I, you know, if I was to go back all the way to, you know, when I first applied to MP school, would I still do it? Would I still go to MP school, or should I just say, like, you know, no, now that you know more about nurse entrepreneurship, would have just skipped over the MP and kind of went your own way? And I actually had to sit on this question for a little bit. Like, it wasn't a instant, immediate, like, oh yeah, I would definitely go back and do it all over again. I kind of had to, like, sit down and weigh it out, be like, you know what, should I? Like, because I'm 70K in debt. Like, was it worth it? Or should I just have stayed an RN? Because I didn't have any student debt as an RN, you guys. I actually had a scholarship fresh out of high school that covered my entire bachelor's degree. So I graduated with a BSN with 0 debt, which was a blessing and amazing. But then, you know, it was my choice to go back and get an MSN, and of course I had to pay that myself. So yeah, it's not an immediate yes, but it is a yes. I think if I was at that point and looking into the future, and, you know, where I'm at with my career, and like I said, it's really all about the mobility and the flexibility that nurse practitioner, you know, what you have and what you can do, I would do it all over again. Now, this is maybe going to be a little shocking, but so I don't know that I actually see myself working like a nurse practitioner role, as in, you know, in a clinic, just seeing patients, diagnosing, prescribing, like just a traditional MP role, or even like in a hospital, like, you know, any kind of MP role, like out in the workforce. To be honest, where I'm at in life right now, and I think that the things that I've experienced already within entrepreneurship, like, it would be very hard for me to just make that decision and be like, you know what, I want to go back into the workforce and just work as an MP. So with me saying that, which I know is like so shocking, I'm like, what? Like, you went to school and you don't really work an MP job and you went through all that schooling and all the debt and you don't sit at the clinic. You know, I know it can be a little shocking, but you guys, I think that entrepreneurship is definitely for me. I feel so grateful that I'm able to use my MP degree with entrepreneurship, because that's like exactly what I wanted in life. So let's just talk a little bit about like the cons with the MP role and why I don't see myself like kind of just in a clinic working that role myself, which I did do for a little while after graduation. So I did, you know, I tried out different little jobs here and there. Well, I don't want to say little jobs like they were irrelevant. Like, they were good, high-paying jobs, but I say little jobs because I legit did not last. I think I worked like maybe 2 months. I did one for a month. I did one for like a week. Like, I was just trying things out. So I did do a family practice job, and I was there PRN like a couple days out of the month. Literally, I was kind of just testing it out. And you guys, like, the NP role, I wouldn't even say the NP role, I would say just the provider role. So NP, PA, MDs, anybody that has like prescriptive authority, diagnostic authority, you know, who's seeing patients, that role it's like so, it's crazy. Like, I don't want to sit here and just talk about like all the issues with the American healthcare system, but the thing that I was noticing was that a lot of it was just like, it almost felt like these insurance companies were telling you how to do your job. And if you're a nurse practitioner or a provider, you know exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to like the prior authorizations with medication refills, or say you order an MRI for a patient and then the insurance company comes back and is like, I think you should do a CT instead. And you're like, why are you telling me what I need to be ordering? Like, I'm the provider, and these insurance companies are like telling you what to do. Then just like the runarounds with getting, you know, prescriptions out to your patients or treatment out for your patients. And then people are coming back again and they're like, let's try this medication first. And it's just like, okay, well, who went to school here? Like, who's the provider? And I find that part was so frustrating to everybody, because, you know, all the providers felt it. Like, there's no way around that. Even the MDs, like, they'll come back and have all these, like, prior authorizations, and no, you gotta sign this, and they're telling you to do this, and no, we don't approve this med. They need to get the generic version, and maybe this is the one drug you want to prescribe. So that part of healthcare is just very, very frustrating. And I feel like as a provider, you know, that part was frustrating. Yeah, that was one thing, but like I said, I'm not gonna sit here and just give like all the cons and all the things that kind of like drew me away from just like working and, you know, being in that role. But that was definitely one thing where I'm like, okay, I just want to be like a provider. Kind of like in summary, I mean, if I was to really think and I'm like, all right, where do I see myself working? And I already have like a plan B, C, and D, okay? Because that's how I just operate in life. Like, say for example, I felt like I'm just over Revitalex Medical Spa. I'm like, you know what, I did it, I tried it, I'm kind of over it, I just want to close the med spa. What am I gonna do now? So I already have like ideas. Like I said, I am definitely an entrepreneurial spirit, and even if I'm not doing something in the medical field, I know that I would be doing something else and probably pull my MP license and figure out what I can do with that and merge it with some kind of business or something where I'm like teaching, or, I mean, there is so many things out here, you guys, that you can do as a solo practitioner, and it's crazy. I mean, it really just opens your eyes to like a whole entire new world of, you know, things that you can do with your degree. I feel like, you know, number one, this degree was extremely expensive. I'm not gonna be sitting, you know, in a job that I don't like, being underpaid, overworked. Like, no, that is not why I went to get this, you know, this title for. And number two, you know, we have so much knowledge, like so much science. You know, as nurses, we have that healing, that caring, touch, the background. Like, we have so much that, you know, you could really merge it and turn it into something so creative that you can do on your own. There's already like, there's like a huge wave of nurse entrepreneurship right now, which is beautiful to see, because it's almost like, all right, we're all kind of waking up and we're all like, all right, we went to school, like, we put in the work, like, let's do our own thing rather than just like sitting here and working for the system and being like overworked and burned out and just unhappy, you know, because that's the worst. Like, honestly, that's the worst. I remember that feeling, being fresh out of like BSN school and going into my first RN job and just disliking it, and just how like uncomfortable that feeling was, because you know, you spend all these years in school, and for you to just not like the job, like, it's very discouraging. And of course I felt that, you know, as an MP as well, because I graduated MP, you know, went through all these long hours of clinicals, you know, the long assignments, went out into my first MP job, and I can't say I was happy. I wasn't like, oh my gosh, I love this. Like, I'm sitting here in my MP office prescribing. Like, I was really kind of just unhappy. And going into all the other MP jobs that I tried out, none of them were really like, okay, I love this. Like, I'm happy in my career. Like, you want to wake up and just be happy, you know, going to work and just feeling fulfilled. And if you're at a job and you work, you know, a regular MP job, a regular nursing job, and you love it, then girl, clap, or guy, clap for you. I mean, because that's fulfillment. Like, you don't want to wake up and just dislike what you do. So yeah, I guess that kind of just answers the questions all in all. You know, was becoming a nurse practitioner worth the $70,000 to pay the degree? And the answer is yes. Like I said, there's a little no's along the way with, you know, picking a school and picking a program and, you know, all that. You know, there's definitely like moments of doubt where you're like, oh, was this even worth it? Like, I wish I just didn't have to be paying these loans, and maybe I should have just thought of something else. You of course have like those little things in the back of your head, but honestly, I would do it all over again. Like I said, I love being a nurse practitioner, and I think it comes in very handy with the type of business that I got myself into. And thinking into the future, I already have like ideas of further services that I want to expand my med spa with. And you know, being a nurse practitioner, I'm able to provide those services. I'm able to just kind of just introduce them without having to, you know, ask permission from here or having to hire somebody else. Like, I kind of could just go on and do my own thing. So I definitely would say that being a provider myself has given me, you know, a lot of freedom within my field. So yeah, you guys, that is going to be it for this video. Let me know in the comments down below how you guys feel. Like, I want to hear from the nurse practitioners. Like, how do you feel? What kind of job do you do? Do you like it? Do you think it was worth it? Do you feel like you are well paid? We need to talk about that, okay? Because there's so many underpaid nurse practitioners out here. Actually, let me just have a quick little chat about that. So my first MP job that I was offered, are y'all even ready? Are y'all even ready? So the first MP job that I was offered right out of graduation was offering me, I don't even want to say it out loud, it's so bad. Okay, they were offering me $36 an hour. Like, insert sound effect somewhere here. Like, I felt like that was such a slap in the face. Like, you're irrelevant. Like, 36 an hour for a master's prepared, board certified nurse practitioner, bilingual at that, because at this place, you know, that was huge. They wanted a bilingual provider, and that's hard to find, like, you know, in my area. So, girl, talk about discouraging. But, you know, and I know that people take that because there's nurse practitioners working at that place. So that to me is just, I mean, I feel like I have no words for that, because that's crazy. Like I said, going, you know, for the cost of the degree to come out and be making 36 an hour, like, I almost have no comment for that. But yeah, so that was my first offer. My second MP role, I was making $80 per patient. This job, I was making $80 per patient. I was seeing about 5 or 6 patients a day. So it was, you know, it was a good salary, but the job itself, I didn't really enjoy. And then I did work a COVID MP role, which was pretty good pay. This was like somewhere in the 50s, like upper 50s an hour, which, you know, I felt was okay. I guess that's kind of average for MP pay. So yeah, but I mean, like I said, as a nurse entrepreneur, like, I don't really even think on an hourly mindset anymore, because I don't really operate my business with an hourly mindset. Like, I'm more of like, all right, how much can I make in a day? How much can I make in a week? How much can I make in a month? How much can I make, like, you know, in a couple minutes? If I was to like really break down what the business makes per hour, like, it surpasses all of that. So, but yeah, either way, I still want to hear from the nurse practitioners. Like, I want to hear, like, do you guys feel like you are, you know, well paid? Like, do you feel okay with your salary? you know, with where you went to school. Like I said, I know there's a lot of underpaid MPs, but I know there's a lot of like well-paid, 6 figures, like you're good, you got your benefits, you know, vacation times, like what you deserve, because the MP role is not an easy role. It was not an easy degree, and you're a whole entire professional. Like, you're a whole entire provider. So I feel like, you know, you definitely have to be well paid for that. But yeah, I just want to hear from you guys. Like, do you enjoy your job? Like, are you happy being a nurse practitioner? Like, let us know. Let's just continue the conversation in the comments. Like, I want to hear, you know, what unit are you in? What kind of clinic? What specialty are you in? Do you like it? Do you feel well paid? Do you feel like your degree was worth it? Would you go back and do it? Or would you just stay an RN? Like, let's just talk about it. I definitely want to hear from, you know, other people's perspective, just because I know mine is a little different, if you will. It's a little skewed just because, you know, I do have my own practice, so it's completely different. Because maybe if I was sitting here in, you know, a normal family practice clinic, I'd probably be coming on here and being like, girl, no, it was not worth it. I should have stayed at RN. I should have done something else. I shouldn't even be in the medical field. Like, who knows what my opinion on that would be. So I know everybody kind of has different things that they're doing with their MP licenses. So I also want to hear about that. Do you have a business with your MP? Like, what are you doing, guys? So let's just continue the chat in the comments. Alrighty, you guys. Well, that is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for being here. Like I said, don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss out on any other topics and chats and uploads. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.